Now, Kathy, your last flip was heads. The one before that was tails. You polled the audience. They came out split, 50-50. No help at all there. So, for $258,000, I have to ask you, Kathy, what's it going to be? Heads or... Excuse me. Oh, boy. I've got to go. I've got to go!
An anthology about the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Punisher! Control!
Hey, before I change my mind!
I give you Super Train.
Episode 488. Submission 2532. The first episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in the U.S. The first episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in the U.S. aired on ABC on the night of August 16th, 1999. Well, folks, we are hitting the 25th anniversary of a momentous event in game show history when ABC brought over a show that had premiered a year earlier on ITV in the UK, which was like a one-week event in September of 1988 called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the gimmick of this show was they had 10 people who qualified through a telephone, was it hotline or something?
In the UK, it would be like a payphone number sort of thing. Like what we would call a 1-900 number.
Yeah. So you'd have 10 people competing to get into the hot seat, put a bunch of stuff in order, and then they get into the hot seat and they got to answer like 15 questions, ranging from 100 pounds to 1,000,000 pounds. And then they get help with these 3, like, I guess, cheats that they call lifelines, where you could ask the audience about a question. You could narrow your 4 multiple choice answers down to 2 choices, or you could call somebody to help you with the question. And this became a mega hit in Britain. It did phenomenal numbers, and like any other game show overseas, the Americans were like, yeah, let's see if this works. ABC at this time, they had a success importing a show from Britain the previous year with Whose Line Is It Anyway? So they thought, well, it doesn't hurt if we put this show and give it like 2 weeks near the end of August in 1999. Let's see how this works. And I remember this being promoted heavily at McDonald's because they had like the McDonald's bags teasing the show, teasing the number that you would call to qualify and try to make the show. And also, let's not forget, this show was hosted by Regis Philbin, and that, I think, got a lot of people curious. Like, Regis? The guy from Regis and Kathy Lee is hosting this?
The last show he hosted, the last game show he hosted was, I don't remember if it was Almost Anything Goes or The Neighbors, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, roughly 25 years.
But the legend says that he lobbied hard to get the hosting gig. In fact, one of his jokes was, they wanted Bill Cullen and he's been dead for 10 years.
Yes, that's a true story. They wanted Bill Cullen to host the show, and nobody told him that he was dead.
So I suppose because it was taped in New York and because ABC was airing it, and Regis Philbin was there and expressed the interest, they were like, you know what, fine.
So, okay. It was 8:30 on August 16th, 1999, and we were introduced to this.
From the 4 corners of the continent, we have flown them to New York City. People just like you, who called our phone number dreaming of instant riches.
Will one of them seize this day, have the knowledge and the courage to change the course of their lives in one short evening? Starting tonight and every night for the next 2 weeks. Join us from New York City as we play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and welcome to the premiere of the biggest, most exciting, most dramatic television program that I or you or anyone else has ever seen. Every night for the next 2 weeks, real people just like you who called our phone number will be playing for an unprecedented cash prize of $1 million. We are terribly excited about this show. The technology, the music, the lights, the human drama, even this audience gets us crazy. What a night this is going to be.
So, okay, that's the opening for this episode now. Chico, do you have the 10 contestants? And, of course, to introduce the fastest finger circle, we have our 10 contestants for the night. So, Regis, can you introduce them to our listening audience?
So now let's meet our first 10 contestants on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And they are Bob Barker, Newton, Massachusetts; Michael Carante, Oradell, New Jersey; Jeremy Bernstein, Miami, Florida; Rick Rosner, Burbank, California; Hillary Daw, Kennesaw, Georgia; Pam Wen-Lashaw, Temple Terrace, Florida; David Fialkoff, North Potomac, Maryland; David Korotkin, Ellicott City, Maryland; Candy Manuel, Richmond, Virginia; and H.L. Huffman, Alexandria, Louisiana.
A lot of East Coast, not so much East Coast bias, but a lot of East Coast players who probably could make the trip to New York on short notice. Because remember, this was in the days where Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was shot day of. They did not have any time to do any sort of post. So they were very basic in their presentation. Not like today where, you can do one episode of Millionaire a week, 1 hour, and make it look pretty.
All right, so we have the very first fastest finger question in the history of the American version. Notice I said the very first fastest finger question, not the very first fastest finger first question like they do in England. Which I don't get, but whatever. The first fastest finger question in the U.S. is, put the following valleys in order by geographical location from east to west. A. Death Valley. B. Ohio Valley. C. Silicon Valley. D. Shenandoah Valley. And so, the correct order from east to west is Shenandoah Valley, Ohio Valley, Death Valley, and then Silicon Valley. And then our winner, with 5.39 seconds, is Chico?
David Korotkin beat the second place by a little over half a second. Wow. David Korotkin, a member of Mensa from Ellicott City, Maryland, made history as the first ever player to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Shall we go over the rules real quick?
Yes. In case somebody has been in a coma for 25 years and does not know the rules of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Now, Mike, do you think there's somebody listening that does not know how this game is played?
You gotta figure at some point in the last 25 years, most everybody has seen the show and has a general idea as to the structure of the game.
This is for everybody who is too young to remember the rules of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, we got some kiddies that might not know. They might have only seen like the latter syndicated episode. So,
okay. So, every player who sits in the hot seat is 15 questions away from winning $1 million. As the questions go, the stakes get higher, the difficulty gets harder. Once you reach the 5th question worth $1,000, or the 10th question worth $32,000, you are guaranteed to leave with that much money. And that's important because if you answer one question wrong, just one, you're done, son. Game over. Thanks for playing. Exits that way. But we want you to win as much money as possible, don't we, Greg? Don't we, Mike?
Yes. So, Chico, we have David's first question for $100, and I got to tell you, this is a toughie here. What is the main task of a professional taxidermist? Stuffing animals, driving a cab, accounting, treating wounds.
That's a tough question for 100.
Mike, what do you think?
I don't want to embarrass myself, so I won't answer.
It's stuffing animals.
You mean what I do to the Thanksgiving turkey is taxidermy?
In a biblical sense, yes.
Okay, for $200. What takes place under a big top? A ballet, a circus, an opera, or Don King?
I think we can eliminate one of the answers.
It's a circus. Okay, for $300. In July of 1997, what was finally returned to China after 99 years? Taiwan, Hong Kong, Manchuria, or South Dakota? Well, I'm sure in 2024 they probably wish it was A. But because it's 1999, it's Hong Kong. Although, let's be honest, it would be funny if for some reason 1987 America would be like, you know what, China, you can have South Dakota. We don't need it.
Well, we do want to keep Mount Rushmore, but the rest of it, enjoy.
Okay, for $500, what was William Cody's popular nickname? Billy the Kid, Buffalo Bill, Wild Bill, or Stinky?
Stinky is what his mother called him.
It was Buffalo Bill. Okay, now we get to the $1,000 question. This is the safe haven question. What does the economic abbreviation GNP stand for? Gross National Product, Gross National Percentage, Gross National Profit, or Gross Naked People?
I'm going to go with Gross National Product. Because I am a learned some gun.
Okay, all right, let me just say this now. Is that your final answer, Chico?
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, you're right. It's $1,000. That's, yeah. For $2,000. From what retailer was Monica Lewinsky's notorious navy dress purchased? Yes, folks, you can tell this is 1999. A. The Limited. B. Old Navy. C. The Gap. Or D. Walmart. And so David actually has to use a lifeline here. He has to ask the audience. So
I don't blame him.
here's the results. 56% went with the Gap. 36% went with the Limited. 6% went with Old Navy. And 2% went with Walmart. I don't even know what the Limited is.
It was a mall store back in the 80s and 90s. It's what Forever 21 would be right now.
So I'm guessing they're not in business anymore.
I don't know.
It looks like the Limited is still around, but it looks like the Limited is owned by Belk.
Belk. Modern Southern style.
And actually, the Limited in terms of stores appear to be gone, but the Limited brand name in terms of clothing is sold through Belk. exclusively.
So it's like a Zeller situation in Canada.
Yes.
I'm sure that makes Dane very happy if he's listening that we mentioned Zellers in this podcast.
And actually, it looks like it is still around. It was bought by a private equity firm in 2017. Trying to see how many locations there are, because I have not seen a limited in a number of years.
He had a limited over at Cross Creek. You know what it became? A Forever 21.
Their website isn't even loading for me. Well, I think not just that, but also, again, taking a look at Wikipedia here, Belk at some point in 2021 was in bankruptcy and got out of bankruptcy. And yeah, the limited is still currently being sold at Belk as of 2023. So if you have a Belk in your area, which I know there are some in North Carolina, so maybe you can go to Belk and see if they have limited apparel, even though I think limited is primarily for females.
Yes.
So you're not going to be buying anything there unless you're surprising Kiesla and trying to make her look like she's in her teens or 20s once again.
Just for the record, Monica Lewinsky bought her dress at the Gap because obviously she's not going to be low class and go to Walmart to get a dress like that.
But I do like Walmart as a fake answer, and I'll tell you why. What state did Bill Clinton represent when he was governor?
Arkansas.
What state is Walmart headquartered in?
Arkansas.
I think I made the case that it's a pretty good fake answer.
Okay, here we go for $4,000. In 1993, Benazir Bhutto was reelected as Prime Minister of what country? Pakistan, India, Egypt, or Thailand? And so David has to go to the 50-50, which eliminates Egypt and Thailand. So it leaves Pakistan and India. So he goes with his final answer for India, but nope.
He's gone.
No, it's Pakistan, and he's leaving with $1,000.
Now, obviously, this person is a grown adult, is at least 18 years of age, and the news of Benazir Bhutto being the female prime minister of Pakistan was humongous news back in, I believe it was about 86, 87, 88. So I find it very, very hard to believe that somebody would forget that unless they were in diapers back then, which obviously is impossible.
Okay, so you know what this means. We got to get a new contestant for the hot seat. So we have our second fastest finger question of the night. And so the question is, place the following performers in the order they joined Saturday Night Live from the earliest to the most recent. A. Eddie Murphy, B. John Belushi, C. Colin Quinn, D. Phil Hartman. This is easy.
B, A, D, C.
Because John Belushi would have started with the original cast in 1975, which, as of the time we're recording this, they just released the trailer for the Saturday Night movie based on the first season of Saturday Night Live in 1975 that Jason Reitman's directing.
And truth be told, we're all geeked out for it.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. A. Eddie Murphy in 1980, which we talked about in episode 97. D. Phil Hartman, 1986. And Colin Quinn would have been 1996. And at the time, he would have been the current Weekend Update anchor, because he would have replaced Norm the year before, after he got let go from Update. And so, the winner, with a time of 4.65, is Hilary Daw. She is the winner of the second fastest finger competition, and now she is in the hot seat.
Yes. Hilary Daw, a music professor at Kennesaw State University in Kennesaw, Georgia, which, you know, is near Atlanta.
By the way, I'm skimming through the commercials. I just found a commercial for future entry Oh Grow Up. Oh God, I remember them hyping this.
When I grow up, I want to find the perfect woman. And as often as possible. I want to do nothing really well.
When I grow up, I don't ever want to visit the hair replacement center.
I want to have pizza whenever I want it.
Oh, Grow Up. Coming Wednesdays this fall on ABC.
Vendela.
Here we go for $100. Hillary's first question. Which Army bugle call is played to wake up the troops? Taps, charge, reveille, or feelings? Nothing more than feelings.
You ain't getting up if they're playing taps, just saying.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if they did the call to wake everybody up and it was feelings?
No, it wouldn't work.
It'd be the best rendition of feelings since Steve Urkel sang it to Laura Winslow that one time.
I remember that episode. Reveille.
C.
Yes.
Reveille. Yeah. Which of the following animals has been clocked for $200 at a land speed of 70 miles per hour? A cheetah, a greyhound, a rabbit, or a snail on caffeine?
I'm going to go with the snail on caffeine. No.
Yeah, it's a cheetah. Okay, for $300, what substance used to stiffen shirt collars is also found in some foods? Fiber, glucose, storage, or Viagra?
Boy, it's kind of funny. The right answer and the obvious wrong answer. There's jokes I could make about stiff stuff, but good night, everybody.
It's starch. Little starch in your shirt makes it nice and crispy.
All right, for $500, what is the name of King Arthur's sword? Excelsior, Excalibur, Extempora, or Eczema? It's Excalibur.
Yeah. Excelsior is the name of the sword that turns into the giant robot on Power Rangers Operation Overdrive.
Just as an aside, Greg, if you didn't see Rocky and Bullwinkle, I believe it was last night's, Bullwinkle did a poetry corner reading, I forget what poet did Excelsior, but he did his version of Excelsior. If you can find it, that might be something you want to put in the show.
Oh, hold on. I do have it DVR from TV Tunes, so I could put it in.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, Excelsior!
And now, once again, here's Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello there, Culture Gang. Today's poem is Excelsior by Henry W. Longfellow. The shades of night were falling fast when through a alpine village passed a youth who bore mid snow and ice a banner with the strange device, Excelsior!
Amerikanische domkopf.
He dared the pine tree's withered branch. He braved the fearful avalanche. A tear stood in his bright blue eye, but still he answered with a sigh, Excelsior!
Pray tell me, said a mountaineer, what in the world you're doing here, and why you climb up here so high, just to give that silly cry.
Excelsior?
That's the one.
The answer came both quick and blunt. It's just a advertising stunt. I represent Smith, Jones, and Jiggs, a lumber company that makes Excelsior!
Now you're just teasing me.
Oh, that's right, because Chico still doesn't have Friendly TV and BTV Tunes. You could watch all the Woody Woodpecker you want.
I can. And do.
For $1,000, what kind of vehicle is a trawler, a train, a boat, a car, or an airplane?
Oh, that's easy. It's a boat.
Yeah, but Hillary has to ask the audience here. And an overwhelming majority, 75%, say it's a boat.
Boats, boats, boats.
Oh my god. Now you made me think back of the How I Met Your Mother episode.
That was the idea.
The boats, 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 lady.
Boats, boats, boats. It's the Farhampton Boat Show.
Boats, boats, boats.
November
November 5th, 6th, and 7th at the Farhampton Civic Center. Come on down.
Didn't she end up with the captain?
Yes. And then they got divorced.
That's right, because that was the central plot in the end of the first season of How I Met Your Father.
Yep.
Yeah, because Kyle MacLachlan, as the captain, he divorced the boats lady. So now we're going for $2,000. Which of the following poker hands does not beat a full house? A 4 of a kind, a royal flush, a straight flush, or 3 of a kind?
Let's remember, this is 1999. We are 4 years from the big poker craze. So this is not necessarily as easy as you may think, at least in 1999. In 2024 or anytime after 2003, yeah, easy. But 1999, poker was sort of on the down low still.
Yeah, and in fact, Hillary has to use a 50-50, which leaves a straight flush and a 3 of a kind. So, what is our answer here?
Well, the answer, even if you didn't know about poker, you could easily get it was D, 3 of a kind, because what is a full house? A pair and a set.
Well, again, remember, first off, the terminology set was not used in 1999 commonly. But also, second, again, it's 1999. Poker is not as widely known as it is nowadays. So you may not have people that just commonly know, oh, well, a full house is 3 of a kind and a pair. Again, easy in retrospect, more difficult back in 1999. Sort of the opposite of the Monica Lewinsky dress question. I'm sure that was well known back in 1999, but now 2024, who really knows? And who really cares, to be honest?
But we all know what a full house is. It has Bob Saget, Dave Coulier, and John Stamos.
Hey, you want a connection to Millionaire? If you saw Millionaire, I think this is about 2 weeks ago as you hear this, Dave Coulier and John Stamos played Millionaire with Jimmy Kimmel for charity. They had one amazing game. Amazing because A, they won a lot of money, but also B, I think they basically wild-ass guessed their way to big money. I know that's true for probably 2 or 3 of the questions, at least at 32,000, but they sort of wild-ass guessed their way to, I don't want to spoil it, but, it's been 2 weeks. I think they left with $250,000. They did say the $500,000 question.
Okay, guys, for $4,000, here's the question. Which television series featured the wedding of real-life couple Jill Eikenberry and Michael Tucker? A. Hill Street Blues, B. L.A. Law, C. The Practice, or D. St. Elsewhere?
Did Dinah Muldaur get pushed down an elevator shaft afterwards? Instead of throwing the bouquet, they threw Dinah Muldaur down the elevator shaft?
Instead of throwing the bouquet, they threw Dinah Muldaur down the elevator shaft.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Oh my God!
Congratulations! Splat. I think listeners of this show know what the answer is based on our little context clue there. But Greg, go ahead.
It's L.A. Law. Oh my God. Now here we go for $8,000. Now everybody's going to be screaming here. What is the capital of Iraq? Chico, do you have the 4 answers to this question?
I do. Tehran, Basra, Baghdad, or Riyadh.
And you're not going to believe this. Hillary has to phone a friend to get this answer, which is C, Baghdad, which I have to say is weird because what happened 8 years ago?
I was just going to say that. You had Desert Storm, Desert Shield in 1990 and 91, but also, again, 4 years later, 3 years later, who did the U.S. attack? They went for Saddam Hussein of Iraq, and you constantly heard in the news, Baghdad, Baghdad, Baghdad.
Well, that's it. We hear the horn, which means time's up for the night. So, Hillary will be back on Tuesday, August 17th for her $16,000 question. But, Regis, can you tell us the 10 contestants that are going to be in the hot seat on Tuesday's episode for tomorrow night?
Charlene Keating, Michelle Courtney, Lawrence Kaplan, Andrew Simon, Norman Payne, Paul Barber, Mike Berger, Brooks Tomlin, Cindy Sastry, Denise Witt.
Thank you, Regis. And remember, call 1-900-933-9391. $1.50 total cost of the call. Must be 18 years old and resident of the 48 contiguous United States. Daily limit, 2 calls per person per telephone if you want to get on the hot seat on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So that's it. That's our first ever American episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So this show ended up, I think, giving you like a good first tease of what was to come and made people say, this show looks pretty good. Maybe I'll tell a bunch of people what I saw tomorrow at work. And it snowballed and snowballed and snowballed over the course of that 2 weeks. And then when it came back in November, the rest was history.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Since both of you were obviously around back in 1999, what were your thoughts going in? Now, actually, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, did you even know about this show before that premiere night? Or was it one of those things where you just tuned in and were like, okay, let's see what this is about? And literally it became an overnight juggernaut. Because I remember I knew nothing about this show in terms of ahead of time. I don't remember promotion. I don't remember anything bandied about this coming over from England. So let's give it a try. And the game is deceptively simple. Okay, answer 15 questions, all multiple choice. You could win $1 million. But the rub is, the first 5 questions are easy, but once you get into the top 5 questions, you're going to need to know your stuff.
I was in college when this premiered. Now, this was like the week before my first week of my sophomore year in college. And the year before, and Mike, you can attest to this, but the year before, I sort of kind of fell back in love with the game show genre. And I saw this show over the summer. They're pubbing this show where somebody has a chance to win $1 million, but here's Regis in front of a really gaudy red glitter curtain. And then later that summer, I saw the set. And it's like, wow, this looks different. This does not look like any game show I have ever seen, like ever. And this was me having watched the likes of Debt and Win Ben Sides Money and Jeopardy and Wheel when I was in high school. He's like, this is the chair where I could be giving you this check for $1 million. I thought, I should probably tune into this. So I did. And what I saw blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. I mean, this is a quiz show unlike anything that I, at 19, has ever seen.
I viewed this as like a fun novelty. Okay, this was a 2-week show. I'm not expecting much out of it. I'll see how this goes. Because obviously, they're offering a $1 million prize, which I know this is weird for you in 2024, but $1 million being given away on a network show in prime time seemed like astronomical. That'd be like today offering like $100 million as a prize.
Well, not $100 million in the dollars to dollars sense. I mean, what would $1 million in 1999 be? You don't need to go to the calculator, but it would probably be in the range of about $2 million. But I get what Greg's saying. You know, nowadays the $1 million is bandied about so often, maybe it's lost its luster and its potency, if you will. Yeah, it's still a lot of money, but it's been done for a quarter century now. Yeah, that 100 million, let's not even say 100 million. Let's say 10 million. Yeah, how many shows have offered $10 million? You had Power of 10, which made it like really, really impossible to win. Deal or No Deal Island, I think that top prize was in the range of like 13 or 14 million. But again, kind of astronomical odds to win that. And also Super Millionaire from 2005, I believe, or 2004. Yeah, they offered, I think, $5 million. I don't think it was 10, but still. Yeah, 100 million is a bit extreme, but yeah, $1 million is 25 years ago was mind blowing. Even nowadays, you know, if I had a chance to win $1 million and I won it, it's a nice amount of money. It's not enough to retire on, but it helps quite a bit.
Well, what can we say? On the night of August 16th of 1999, Regis gave us the first of what would be many memorable nights and things on TV. Well, we gotta hit the skids for this episode. But remember, you can always go to our website over at itwasathingontv.com, where you can listen to the 487 episodes that precede this episode. And we got all sorts of great bonuses there at itwasathingontv.com. We got minisodes, live shows, extended versions of previous shows. You got everything on there. And remember, we are on all social media, including Instagram, Threads, and Mastodon over at It Was a Thing on TV, except for Facebook, where we are at It Was a Thing on TV podcast. And remember, if you want to follow us on Mastodon, search for us at It Was a Thing on TV at TVWatch.40. And of course, if you're listening someplace to be Nation Pop, we've got the Friday drops going back with 2 episodes once again, because we're back doing 2 episodes a week. And remember to subscribe to the podcast wherever fine podcasts can be streamed, either at Apple, TuneIn, iHeart, Audible, etc. And don't forget, we are on YouTube, where you can like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the notification bell on YouTube to be informed of all future episodes on the channel, including what is coming up on the podcast next time. Well, since we're back to 2 episodes a week, we got 2 good ones lined up for you. Now, the first one, the first episode next week, is a show we've been dying to cover for years. And let's just say, Homer Simpson was very pissed that this show was canceled. I mean, it wasn't quite the Mr. Black mysteries, which according to Homer had limitless possibilities, but still.
This show is definitely one that we've been really tossing around for a while, and it was one of the first shows on one of the new networks at the time, and it was not good. Let's just say that. It was not good, and it was memorable for other things, but yeah, this is one of those that has been like on the back burner for a while, and we're going to just rip the Band-Aid off.
But we will say, we do appreciate and love the star of this show.
Oh, Jenny. Jenny. Oh, yeah, Jenny, don't stop. Oh, Richard, Jenny, your HBO comedy specials have brought pleasure to millions. And what a sweet ass.
But our second episode now, guys. 3 years ago, we said we were never going to do this again. We ended the trilogy on a high note. We were like, we're done. But like any good movie franchise, whenever a studio is ganged up for cash, we have to sell out and do a second trilogy of this.
You can tell Greg has watched Deadpool more than once.
Oh, speaking of, I found a connection that we can put to Millionaire and Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, Chico, you know Matthew McFadden, who played Paradox in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
Played Charles Ingram in Quiz.
Yes.
But you know what also I figured out, which I found out on Threads? Technically, Wolverine has faced both CEOs on Succession. Because remember, Brian Cox was an X2. So, there you go. But yeah, it is the Video Game Show Volume 4. So, what 9 video games do we have that could stand on par with, let's think of some of the others we've covered in the past, like, we covered MASH on 2600, we covered the Thunder in Paradise CDI game.
Home Improvement for the SNES.
Oh, that's right. Real Men Don't Need Instructions. Let's not forget. Funhouse? Yeah, Funhouse. That weird WWF Game Boy game where you had to save Stephanie McMahon.
Roller games.
Roller games on NES. Not the arcade one. The arcade game rules and the pinball machine. The NES game sucks. But we'll find 9 more bad games for you on our next 2 editions of It Was a Thing on TV. For myself, for Mike, and for Chico. We will be back with you next week for those 2 episodes. Row!
Dear Dave, have you ever gotten into trouble for something you said on the air? Martin McDonough. Brandon, Vermont. Well, I wouldn't say no. But people do get in trouble for stuff they say on the air. Have you seen that show, the Regis Philbin How to Be a Billionaire show? Have you seen this show? It's a very popular, it's a huge hit for Regis. And the other night I'm watching it, and I don't know, I thought Regis got himself in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, yeah?
Did you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
here, watch. Regis Philbin getting himself in trouble. Take a look.
Here's the question. Who is the creepiest person on television today? Is it Andy Rooney? Sally Jesse Raphael? Jerry Springer? Or late show announcer Alan Coulter?
Alan Coulter.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
You're absolutely right. It's Alan Coulter. You've won $16,000. Good going.
It's our announcer, Alan Coulter. Oh. That's the Regis Philbin show. You know what I'm saying? So you wonder, if you say stuff like that, are you going to get yourself in trouble? I don't know, but that's what it was the other night right there.
It's not.
Yeah, on the Regis Philbin.
Uh-oh.
Excuse me, Daddy.
What's the problem, Alan?
Did Regis actually put that on national television?
Did you just get in? Did you see that? It was right there. That's from the show, and it was on the ABC, the network, last night. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Oh, no. Oh, I hate this. I just hate this.
Hey, Alan.
Excuse me, can I help you?
I'll just be a minute.
Okay? Very good. All right, thanks a lot, Michelle. Hey, the guy from the Letterman show.
That's right.
Every week.